In the earlier fourth session of this unit, we have seen standards protocols and how one particular task can be divided into different layers wherein the task should be performed at every layer where it takes the services provided by the lower layer. Every layer has its own task to be performed. Similarly, for designing of any network, initially ISO, International Organization for Standardization, has designed one OSI model, Open System Interconnection Network model, with certain set of layers. So we'll be going through the details of those layers. So what the OSI model is? So OSI model, this was first introduced in the late 1970s. It was, by the one of the standardizing organization was the ISO. It's a multinational body for designing of the international standards. It covers all the aspects of network communications in the OSI model. So basically OSI is a open system interconnection network model. Why this is called as open system? Because if there is any network which can be analyzed with the help of a layered structure, then the set of protocols that allows to communicate regardless of the architecture of the particular network. So the set of protocols within the network which can be studied under the different layers. So the network architecture can be studied easily with the assigned set of protocols. So regardless of the what kind of architecture is to the particular network, and that's why this OSI model can be applicable to any network, and that's why we call it as an open system interconnection model. What was the purpose of designing this OSI model? It shows how to facilitate communication between different systems without requiring changes to the logic of the underlying hardware and software. So if already there is a designed network, so in order to map the network working to the OSI model, need not make any specific logical changes into the hardware design or to the software solutions or the packages. So we can study that. So it easily facilitates the communication between the different systems within the network without requiring any specific changes to be made. So this was the purpose of OSI model. Now EZD protocol. So many times OSI is that model or organization. So OSI is designed by ISO organization and it's a model and not a protocol. So yes, this is not a protocol, but it's a model for understanding and designing a network architecture. So as a whole, single architecture, to learn it is difficult and challenging, and that is why it is analyzed by mapping it to one particular layered structure which is part of the OSI model, and this structure of the architecture is more flexible, robust in its working and interoperable. So that are the specific characteristics of the OSI model. Now moving ahead with the details of OSI model. The OSI model is a layered framework for the design of networks. So just now in the earlier session we have seen that any task that is to be performed in our daily life also can be divided into the subtasks and we can call it as a layers. Only thing is every layer should have some independent task to be done and every layer performs the separate task. Yes, but these are related with each other. So such as 7 separate but related layers, each of which defines a part of the process of moving information across a network. So OSI model can be studied with the 7 layers. It has a separate 7 layers, but these layers are interrelated with each other. And with the help of all of them together, it defines the task to be performed, how the complete process is carried out by doing part of the processes and moving the information from one layer to another layer across a network. So here is the set of layers for the OSI model. So layer 1 is a physical layer, it's the lowest layer, above that data link layer, then network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and at top it's application layer. So I have just highlighted and bolded the initial letters. So you should remember the sequence properly. So I can remember, I do remember the sequence with the short symbols as A, P, S, T and TP. So coming from top to the lower. So we have seen already every layer takes the services provided by the lower layer. So 7th layer takes the services, uses the services provided by the 6th layer. 6th layer uses the services by 5th layer and accordingly. So in general we can say nth layer uses the services provided by the n-1 layer, or the lower layer provides the services to the upper layers, and in this way they work in coordination with each other. So this was just in initial introduction to the set of layers. So OSI model has 7 layers. Lowest layer is the physical layer and topmost layer, highest layer is the application layer. Now let us go ahead in more details. So the layered architecture, how it works. So networking functions with related uses are collected into a discrete groups to form the layers. So this is an answer to the question how the layers are formed. So as a whole, when network was studied, analyzed, so the set of functions that uses the services and performs the relevant task, those are grouped into one particular layer. So networking functions with related uses are collected into a discrete group to form a layers. Each layer defines a family of functions distinct from those of the other layers. That's what. So when it is divided into the subtasks, so when a single layer performs the relevant task, so obviously every layer defines a set of functions which are distinct from the earlier or the later layers. Functions of all the layers are defined and architecture. Functions of all the layers are defined and an architecture is created that is comprehensive and flexible. So the set of layers with the set of functionalities with the connecting interfaces. So all these combiningly together will design a comprehensive structure which is easy to understand and which is flexible in the designing and analyzing purpose. That is what the layered architecture is. So when we map this to an application within a single machine, each layer calls upon the services of the layer just below it. We have seen that. And now there is a concept called as a peer-to-peer processes. When two machines communicate with each other, in that case the processes on each machine that communicate at a given layer are called peer-to-peer processes. So if there are two machines, one is a sender machine, another is behaving as a receiver machine, sending of an mail and receiving of an mail, we can apply the analogy. So in that case, when the communication is held, then layer to layer communication happens, and this is called as a peer-to-peer processes. We'll see this in more detail with pictorial representation. Peer-to-peer processes communicate using protocols appropriate to the given layer. Yes, for every set of layers, as there are defined functionalities, so set of protocols are also there. So when the two machines are communicating with each other, each machine has its own set of 7 layers, suppose at the sender machine, at the receiver lane. So communication is held between the layer to layer with the set of protocols that are defined for that particular layer. Now, interaction between layers in the OSI model. This is also a very important concept to understand the whole working of the OSI model. How the interaction is held between the set of layers of the OSI model. So this is a diagram which is very important diagram, and here this diagram itself indicates and it helps to understand the working. When you see it once, it seems more complicated, but once you understand its working and significance, then yes, the pictorial representation of diagrams gives all the details of the network. So this is a device A and this is device B, and there are some intermediate nodes. So these intermediate nodes are nothing but when it is going from top to lowest layer, this is the transmission media where it is involved, and again going from bottom to the upside so as to reach to the respective destination. So these are the set of 7 layers at the sender side, 7 layers at the receiver side. So just now we have seen peer-to-peer process. So whenever the application to application, this mail was sent, mail is received. So this is at the highest level. So highest level layers on both the ends. So this is what called as a peer-to-peer processes which are controlled by the peer-to-peer protocol. So this is the 7th layer. 6th layer is the presentation layer. Then peer-to-peer protocol. Now try to understand the architecture and nomenclatures given to the each and every layer, how the names are given and what is the sequence and these terminologies, because we have to see the working and functionality of each and every layer in more details with the set of protocols, few protocols. So session layer to session layer, peer-to-peer protocols. Now here these 7 layers are again divided into the 3 groups. So these lowest three layers, physical layer, data link layer and the network layer. These are called as a network supporting layers. Application layer, presentation layer and session layer, 4, 5, 6. These are called as a user supporting layers. And transport layer is a layer that coordinates the user supporting layers to the network supporting layers. These network supporting layers usually may be designed with hardware or softwares. Upper three layers, session layer, presentation, application layers, these are completely software layers that based upon the software. But specifically, most of the time, physical layer is designed with hardware, where the actual communication and the transmission is shown with the transmission media. So this is all the structure how it indicates. The intermediate nodes through which it goes from machine A to machine B. So these intermediate nodes are nothing but a set of 7 layers on the sender side and set of 7 layers at the receiver's end. And these are communicated by the lowest layer, connected by the lowest layer, that is a physical layer. So here is a description. So at the physical layer, communication is direct, that we have seen, that is at the physical layer, communication is direct. So here if you see, all these are the interfaces. These are not connected directly. So all these are the interfaces. This is an interface between 6th and 7th layer. Interface between 3rd and 4th layer. While physical layer, these are connected directly. That is what's shown here. At the physical layer, communication is direct. A device A sends a stream of bits to the device B through the intermediate nodes. So device A sends a stream of bits to the device B through the intermediate nodes. That was shown in the diagram. At the higher layers, communication must move down through the layers on device A over the device B and then back up through the layers. That is also clear from the diagram. Each layer in the sending device adds its own information to the message it receives from the layer just above it. So this is important part. Each layer in the sending device adds its own information to the message it receives from the layer just above it. What does it mean? So let us take an example of a network layer. When network layer receives some information from the transport layer, it will receive as the packet or the message from the transport layer. It will add its own information details at the network layer, and this whole message is transferred ahead for the data link layer. So the whole packet received from the network layer is treated as it is by the data link layer, and it will add its own details and then it forward ahead for the physical layer. That is what the meaning is. So what it said next? So this is about the description of the peer-to-peer process, how it occurs. At layer 1, entire package is converted to a form that can be transmitted to the receiving device. That is the function of the physical layer or the lowest layer. So the entire package is converted into a form that can be transmitted through the receiving device. So based upon the transmission media, physical layer will convert the available data from the data link layer into a form that can be transmitted easily through the available transmission media. So it may be wireless media, wired media. In the wired, it may be coaxial cables, copper cables, fiber optic cable, in a form and at the data rate at which the transmission media can carry and forward the data. In that form, physical layer will convert the received data. So at the receiving machine, the message is unwrapped layer by layer. So at the receiver end, what happens when the data is received? So at the receiving machine, each layer at each process removes the data meant for it and then it forwards ahead. Okay, so the further part will be continued